Episode 8, Dream Big, Setting Bold Goals for Life and Business. Hi, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Jade.
And this is Really Fucking Trying.
A podcast where we talk about the ins and outs and ups and downs of running a small business and being creative.
Today's episode is all about the art of dreaming, planning and setting goals. Not just for business, but for life as well.
We're going to tell you all about what we've been dreaming of for our futures, the futures of our businesses, our lives and the podcast, and what our plans of action are.
Ooh, really going into it.
Yeah.
And we're not doing this alone today. We are joined in the studio by the incredibly talented Toni from TLC Illustration.
Oh my God.
A powerhouse illustrator who knows a thing or two about chasing ambitious goals.
So grab a coffee, get comfy and let's get into it.
So, Toni,
Yes.
would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
I am a freelance illustrator. So, like, I do things like visual minutes and live illustrations and stuff. So, things for, like, the council or organisations or, like, reports. And then also in that, I do workshops and stuff with kids, which is great sometimes. It's great sometimes, but yeah. I do a bit of everything, mainly just draw. That's the top one. Yeah.
How did you get started?
All I've ever done is draw.
Oh, really?
Literally since I hate being that person.
Yeah.
I really hate being that person.
I was that person on the first episode, so what do you mean?
Yeah, but we've been like the same, like all through primary school and stuff. We've just been drawing,
Yeah.
and it's always been something really fun. And then like when I've been packing up stuff, so I've recently moved house. I've found a load of my old drawings and a load of like books that you make and like letters and stuff, and they
Yeah.
get you to write what you want to be when you grow up. And all of them are like, I want to be an artist.
Oh.
So like it's something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I done my A levels, which was hell. I wish they'd give me a BTEC and not A levels, but. And then found the world of illustration in my foundation year and was like, oh, that's drawing. That's not the fine art of like making. I think I went on the open day for Man Met and I looked at the fine art degree and someone had made a giant plaster egg. And I was like, I don't want to.
This isn't why.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's not the stuff I want to do. And then found illustration and was like, oh, it's just drawing. And then you put the drawings on things and then
The
people.
bit that I like.
Yeah, people will pay you to draw. And I'm like, oh, that's great.
Where were you fucking 10 years ago? Sounds like that's what I should have done as well.
Yeah. Purely just, I don't know. I think it's just, you're always pushed in like education stuff. It's always pushed as fine art.
Yeah.
You never find out about illustration.
Yeah.
And then once you do find it, it's either like too late or, oh, I'll give it
Yeah.
a go. I'll try it and see. And then went to John Moore's for graphic design and illustration and spent the 3 years of my life absolutely dying because it was hell. And then came out of it, spent a year of doing nothing, and then found Hazelhurst Studio as well.
Wow.
They found me and was like, stay, don't leave.
Oh.
So it's something that I've always thought about and never known how to actually do it. And then now I've been like full-time freelance for a year. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
whoa,
I'm doing it.
oh my God. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Can I ask, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine, but when you said that you came out of uni and then didn't do anything with it for a year, I was kind of in the same situation, but that went on for about 6, 7, 8 years for me. Did you feel that uni kind of killed your creativity a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Not
good for you.
Yeah, but no, 100%. And I've got two of my friends as well who I've done the course with. They had a similar thing.
Oh, really?
Where they're like, they either went straight into work and just did it. I mean, you're doing it for like 3 years non-stop. You're going to get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. But then you're also like, you lose no one's setting your briefs. No one's telling you what to do.
Yeah.
So then you're like...
You're on your own and you feel a bit like, I don't know what am I meant to be doing.
Yeah, I have no idea. So we tried to set our own like briefs and stuff, and then I just didn't want to do it. Fell into like a major like mental health hole. Got a really bad part-time job that sucked the life out of me. And then it was like, oh, there's a studio space. And I was like, I'm going to hate myself. Absolutely hate myself if I don't do it. And then from then it's just kind of gone. Everything's just gone up.
Bloomed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cute.
Yeah. So it's good now. It just really wasn't after.
No,
You and me were talking about that, weren't we, though, even before you were at Hazelhurst properly?
Yeah.
I said that year after is horrendous.
Yeah.
And no one prepares you for it. It's awful.
No.
It's like falling off a cliff.
Yeah, it's the worst because they like just leave you.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you about the industry or like how to get into it. They just like, they'll give you like certain briefs, like we had loads of live briefs on like designing posters for like Sound City, the music festival in town and stuff. So we had stuff like that, but then it's never, oh, here's how to like actually make it a job.
Yeah, no,
So,
I felt the
yeah.
same. It's terrifying, isn't it?
I think everyone has that,
Yeah.
but you also need it. Sometimes as bad as it is, you do need that time of, because you've still got time to, I've gone back to uni and I've like spoke to the third years and stuff, and I said I spent a year doing nothing, and they're like, what? Really? And I'm like, yeah, because I've spent 3 years, you'll spend 3 years doing all this.
Yeah.
You need to give yourself a break at the same time. It definitely, I think it worked out for the best.
Yeah.
Because then if I hadn't had that time to stop, I don't think none of it would have like fell into place, kind of thing.
You might not took on Hazelhurst.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that and then wouldn't be where I am today, which is really weird to think about. The fact that God knows what I'd actually be doing, because I wasn't going to go to uni in the first place.
Oh, really?
I was adamant on not going.
Oh, wow.
Didn't want to do
What
it.
changed your mind?
I didn't know what else I'd do.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely riddled with anxiety doing my A-levels and my foundation. I was like, I can't get a job. I
Yeah.
can't talk to people behind a till.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. And then I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll just do uni then.
No, I felt exactly the same. Like, I went to uni because the thought of being employed was terrifying.
Yeah.
And, like, the thought of going to uni was terrifying, but getting a job was scarier.
Yeah,
which
at
is
least
why I
like
went
at
to
uni you can kind of be by yourself and you don't really
Yeah,
have to talk to
yeah.
people. As in at a job you would have had to.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I actually done it, was just because I genuinely didn't know what else I'd do.
Yeah, but you're kind of conditioned into that. Like, we've talked about this before, haven't we? But you're conditioned into that. Like, you go to school and then you get your A-levels and then you uni and then you get a degree and then you get a mortgage and have a kid.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just that natural cycle that you fall into. And I think a lot of people go to uni purely because that's what they
you
think
just-
they're meant to do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work out.
Nope.
No.
Didn't for me.
No, exactly.
6 weeks gone. Bye.
But you're like proof that kind of step of doing it that way isn't the only
still
way to
okay,
do it.
yeah.
Do you
And, like,
find as well, because I find this, and this is off topic, but if you tell somebody that you do art, they automatically assume that you paint.
yeah.
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 It's
Yeah.
mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean I used to.
I used to as well, but I haven't
That-
touched
they
paint for
expect you
years.
to be like
Yeah.
the artist that you see in like The Walker.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, mm-mm.
It's weird,
Yeah.
isn't it?
No.
I often get like, how's your little art thing?
Your little side hustle.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
We've had conversations about that, me and Ellie,
Yeah,
before, about
I
having,
hate it.
because there was a bit where I had a job as well. That was a 4-hour contract, I think. So it was literally like one shift a
That's
week I was supposed to be
crazy, yeah.
doing. And I was doing 30-odd hour weeks.
my
because,
God.
and I'm like, but I have other work. And it's like, it was a side hustle.
It's
I'm
your
like,
little-
no, it's
yeah.
not. This
Yeah.
is the side
Oh,
hustle.
it's- I don't think people realise how disrespectful
No,
they're
they
being when they
I've
say
even
that
had like
as well.
friends say it to me before. So I used to be friends with this girl, and she worked in an office, and she got me a job there. And we were sat down for lunch, and we were with like a group of people, and I obviously didn't know them very well because I was new. And I got an order through on Etsy like while we were having lunch, and I was like, oh my God, like it was my first one to like America or something. I can't remember.
Oh.
I was really excited.
Oh, so
about
like a
it.
proper big thing
Yeah,
then, yeah.
and I was like still relatively new as well. And I was like, oh my God, like, can you believe, look what? And she was like, oh yeah. And then somebody else at the table was like, what's this? So I said, and she interrupted me and she was like, oh, it's just a silly little art thing. And I was like, that was like, but then I couldn't stick up for myself because I was like, I don't know their hair friends. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, even for your friend to say it, like people just don't understand.
I once
what
had
it is
someone
that we're
say
doing.
to me a couple of years ago, somebody, I won't say who, said to me, you're still colouring in?
I've had that. I get, colouring in degree. And I'm like,
I think I've
Technically,
said
yeah.
that to you as a piss take before,
Yeah.
to be fair.
yeah. So I'll say it, but then there's some people, that they're saying it as like,
They mean it,
why have
yeah.
you got,
Yeah.
what are you going to do with a degree in art? And I'm like, well, I've actually done all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have, like, you've done really impressive things.
I think now is when I'm starting to realise like how much I've done in such a short space
Yeah.
of time as well with it, and like how it is actually some quite big things. And
No,
I'm
it
like,
is.
oh wait, I've done that. Oh my God. I've only ever actually like dreamed about doing that,
Yeah.
and then now I've done it. I'm like, oh
Yeah. It's kind of like you feel like it's not really you, don't you? Like,
yeah.
I can't have done that.
Yeah, so a lot of my illustration stuff I've done for Halton Family Hubs. They launched like the Family Hubs thing, which is like a service where you can go and get help with like parents, grandparents, kind of kids and stuff. So they have loads of like free services like baby massages and all sorts of
Oh, that's cute.
things. And a load of the illustrations that I've done, they've now started putting them on like the leaflets and the branding and things. And I
wow.
went to a conference the other day to like draw that conference to give them more images, and it was on like the banners and all the TV and stuff. And I'm like,
Oh, I'm famous.
I'm like, oh my God. It's like, wait, that's actually all of my
It's really
stuff, and I'm
cute.
just sat in the corner of my dungarees as everyone else is dressed like really formal.
You look so much like an illustrator.
Thank you. I try.
So should we get into our big goals, big
Might be an
plans, big
idea,
dreams,
yeah.
etc.? Who would like to go first?
You go first, Jade. Take it away.
Okay, so my biggest goal in life and business and everything is to be financially stable from my business. So I've mentioned in a few previous episodes that my partner Kyle pays for the bulk of our bills. And then because my money comes in so sporadically, we can never really rely on it. So my money is for like extra things. And, do you know, like it does go towards bills and stuff, but not as much as his. We rely on his. So I would really like to get to a stage where I'm financially comfortable from the business. So to do that, I want to ideally get in more physical shops, get my products in more physical shops, get more stockists, which I have been working on. That's kind of gone up quite a lot in the past kind of year maybe, but I really need to work on that a lot more. And I am going to do that in 2025. By the time this comes out, we're going to be like halfway through 2025 and I still haven't started.
No, you will.
I'm going to do it.
You will.
I'm going to do it. I am. So I got myself on Fair. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I
did tell you.
I think I've seen it.
So it's probably not very relevant for you per se, Toni, but it's basically a wholesale website. So people with physical shops will have an account on it and they can just go on there and buy your products at a wholesale price and stock you in their shop then. But you can set you have to spend like £100 with me. So it's good because it comes in quite a big bulk of money.
You can set like your minimum of what you get.
And they have to order you can set it so you have to order 10 of this specific product.
That's good.
But the problem I've been having with that at the moment is you don't get the money through until the products have already gone out and arrived with the person, which obviously makes sense for their end.
Yeah.
But you've then got to make the products with no money.
Yeah.
Send it out with
I mean,
money.
I was going to say it's the same on Etsy, but Etsy, it's very unlikely that you're going to get a huge order on there. And you might, but for wholesale, it's a bit tricky.
Yeah. So that's what I've been working on and that's what I'm going to continue to work on.
Well done.
Thank you. Then my other goals are kind of reliant on that. So I really want to pay my overdraft off. Not a business goal, just a life goal. I have been slowly chipping away at that, but not getting anywhere very fast, unfortunately. It's hard, isn't it? Like I never had an overdraft. Like when I was at uni and anything, I didn't have an overdraft then. And then until like 2021, my friend was like, "Should we go on a night out?" And I was like,
"You were like, woo!
I haven't got any money." And I was like, "Should I just get an overdraft?" And since then, it's just been growing. Yeah. So that was silly. So I really want to do that. I really want to move out my parents' house. So at the moment, it's my mum, my dad, my brother, me, and Kyle, and 2 dogs in like a 3-bed house. So it's a lot of adults. Yeah. And like we've got big dogs, and it's just a lot of bodies in one space. I really want to move out. I want to have my own space. I want a little house for me and Kyle and our dog with a little room that I can have as a studio. Yeah. A little garden for the doggo. Like nothing fancy, just home.
Your own space.
Yeah. Because right now we've got like boxes. Like I've sent you photos before, haven't I, Ellie? And you've been like, you need a fucking studio.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought you had a studio.
No, I work from home. So there's like boxes piled to the ceiling in my bedroom. So my bedroom is our bedroom, our living room, my workspace. It's a shit show, isn't it? But yeah, so I really want to do that. I also really want either me or Kyle to learn to drive. I think that would massively change our lives. So I've never even done a driving lesson.
Me neither.
Haven't you?
No.
I feel like people are always really shocked when I say that, but
And I don't want to right now.
I'm
terrified.
Yeah, same.
Genuinely
I really want
terrified.
Kyle to do it so I don't have to.
So many people ask me, and I'm like, I know my life will be improved.
Yeah.
And I know I'll have much more freedom.
Yeah.
But the thought of I can just see myself sitting there in the car and just stopping
in
the middle of the road, in the middle of the motorway, crying. And then just being like, I can't move. I can't do it.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. So I never had the motivation to do it. Like as a teenager, like I wish I'd done it when I was like 17. Yeah. But I just never thought I'd need to. I just got the train everywhere. And then after COVID, I've got really bad problems with my back. So I can't walk as far. Well, I can barely walk at all usually. I couldn't like walk to the train station and get a train somewhere. So now I am kind of really reliant on like my dad to give me a lift somewhere or a friend to give me a lift somewhere. I think it would just give me a little bit of independence. Yeah. But even if Kyle learned, that would give me a little bit of independence because I knew that I can always rely on him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like I could do markets further afield and I could take on more markets without the stress of like, oh, it's going to be £60 in taxis or do you know what I mean? I just think it would really open up a lot of gateways.
Don't get how you do the taxi thing.
It is a lot. So like obviously like a market fee is minimum like 30 quid now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that's a really low one.
Yeah.
And then if I do one in Liverpool, because I live on the Wirral, if I do one in town, that's £30 each way, usually in a taxi.
Oh, that's crazy because it doesn't look that far.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. So before I've even even spent anything on like food or
You've got to like add up that massive
it's like
travel cost
90
too.
quid just for table and travel.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money. So I have been trying to be pickier about what markets I do because I'm like, I can't afford to keep splashing that out on markets where I'm not necessarily going to make it back.
Yeah.
But I think if I could drive, I think that would hugely change my life. And again, like, I think our order of preference is we're trying to pay our overdrafts off, then we're going to learn to drive, then we're going to move out.
Yeah.
But I think learning to drive would make moving out not feel as essential. Like I wouldn't feel as much like I need to do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'd have a little bit of freedom.
Yeah.
We could go on adventures with the dog and, it'd just be dead cute.
Yeah.
So they're like relatively short-term goals. I mean, obviously they're still going to take me a while, but
It's a goal.
yeah,
it's
it
a
is.
dream.
And like right now I'm not bringing in enough money, but they're short-term in the big scheme of things.
Yeah. You've got something to like work towards.
Yeah.
It's always good to have something
Yeah.
to like aim at.
Yeah. And like long-term, my absolute dream, big goal, I want to own like a physical shop. I've
That'd be
always
so
wanted to do that.
cool.
Yeah. I want somewhere where I can stop my own work. I want to stock other artists.
I was going to say that. Would you have it as...
like,
I want that for you as well.
Thank
Hi.
you. We can do it together.
See, that would be so cool. I was just like a little...
It would, wouldn't it?
And it'd be pink.
Yeah, it'd be pink
Oh,
and the
we
name
could-
would be
everything
on
would
the
be pink,
side.
yeah.
We could call it really fucking shopping.
Oh my God, we
Oh
could.
my God.
Fuck off. I'm changing this as a podcast goal. Let's do it.
Oh my God, yeah. You could have like a little market and everything.
How cute would
no,
it
I'm
be?
absolutely sparking, like, my
Yeah,
brain's going off
yeah,
now for
let's
years.
do
You
it.
could have like a little market and have people
Yeah.
apply to
Wouldn't it be
and
dead
it's-
cute?
Yeah.
You come in, we're going to be a trio.
Yeah.
I'll do like a live
could do
portrait
live,
thing for
yeah.
your launch.
Yeah. Oh my God, I fucking love that.
Everyone can get a little drawing of themselves.
Thank God for that, because we haven't got a portrait artist.
No. No.
She's quicker than you, I imagine.
She is. really is.
So that's, I really want to do that. I just really want my own little shop, pink, my name on the sign, loads of other artists in there.
Oh, that'd be so...
Be dead cute. That's
That's
like
so
the
fun. Yeah.
live happily ever after kind of dream.
Yeah.
That's the end goal. Yeah, so that's the dream. What about you guys?
I don't do goals as such.
Go home then. Why are you here?
No. What's...
No, there's a reason for this, and I've felt like this for a while. I sometimes feel like with goals, you can achieve it and sort of go, well, yeah, that was the plan, and not really give yourself
Yeah.
full credit
Yeah.
for achieving it. Whereas if you don't, you're going to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like when you set a solid goal like that, when you achieve it, you don't celebrate it enough. And if you don't achieve it, you can spiral.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
reason. I know where I want to go. I know what I'd like my life to look like, ish. But I don't know. I think I'm far more relaxed about this now than I was, say, 5-10
Yeah.
years ago. I think when I was much younger, I had a structure of
Yeah.
where my life should be, what I'd
Yeah.
be doing when I was 25, what I'd be doing when I was 30.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, it goes where it goes. Things happen beyond my control as well. COVID taught us that. It's
Yeah.
complete 180. No one could have predicted that.
Yeah.
But I know what I want to do. For example, I've spoke to you recently, haven't I? I'd like to, well, both of you actually, I'd like to get a website.
Yeah.
Hi,
You've
you two.
literally... I think that was one of the first things
Yeah.
that you said to me was, you need to help me do a website. And I told you everything that I use.
Yeah, you did. You weren't
I
gatekeeper.
literally got
I am
everything.
going to. I'm scared.
And was like,
though.
look,
I'm
it's
not
like a
techie.
grid.
Let's do it
It's like a
together.
grid. It's dead easy. Drag and drop your images in.
Bring your laptop to my house and I'll do it for you.
Okay, I'd like to have a website purely because, and this is what I mean, things change all the time. When before I started this business, I thought Etsy would be like the main thing for me,
Yeah.
and it's not at all.
Yeah.
My Etsy sales are a little bit pathetic.
See, I always, when we first kind of met at Culture HQ, I thought that Etsy was your,
Yeah, it's not. At
that
all.
was your like top
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That's
But-
genuinely what I thought.
Nope, not at all. It's probably brings me the least,
Right.
to be honest. It's not. But I thought it would be going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Etsy would be the main thing that I rely on.
I
and
think
to
a
be
lot
honest
of people
now,
do that.
Yeah, but it's very different now to when I set up already. You know, it's a
Yeah.
lot. I think it's harder.
Mm.
And what I didn't really, I thought I might do markets, but I didn't think I'd do as many as I do now, even though I don't do loads, but I
Yeah.
do more than, I thought maybe I'd dabble in it, maybe do a couple here
Yeah.
and there. But that's turned out to be something that's really gone quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going forward, piggybacking on what you said, I also would like to be stocked in more shops. I
Okay.
did that for the first time last year,
Yeah.
and I made money without having to
Yeah,
do
it's
anything.
great,
I
isn't
had to
it?
provide
Yeah.
a box
Yeah.
of stuff, and that
Yeah.
was it. I was like, where's this been my whole life? This
Yeah.
is brilliant. I get to be lazy.
It's the dream.
I just
Yeah.
make things and send it off. Whoa.
That literally is the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'll be honest, when I started this, I did think everything would be Etsy. I didn't think anyone would commission me. I don't know why, because I got commissions from when I was a teenager. I didn't know why I suddenly thought that would just stop. I didn't think I'd do as many markets. Wasn't even sure if I'd enjoy markets, but I do, and that's a big part of it. Lots of different things that I just didn't think would be as big as they are, and then things that I thought would be big that aren't. So that's why I don't set myself goals, because you don't know.
No, you don't.
That's a good way of thinking about it, though. Wish I thought like that.
But in terms of, and I don't put a time frame on anything either. Again, for the same reason, you just don't know what's around the corner. I could get it by bus tomorrow. I'd hate to think
God,
Right, well.
No, I know that this isn't the way you should be.
I do understand it.
I get it, though.
It's the way I am. Sometimes life gets in the way, and there's nothing you can do about that, really. You certainly shouldn't punish yourself for it.
That's a good way, because I definitely do punish myself.
Same.
No, but you do end up putting so much pressure on yourself, and for what? So what if it takes you a year longer in the grand scheme of things? Who cares?
Yeah. Like, I do try not to put a time note on things. Yeah. I set myself goals and like deadlines for things, and then I kill myself trying to do it. And I'm like, what? I've just made that up. Like, why am I staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning working on this when I'm like, I want to get it finished by Friday, but not for any fucking reason.
But just for you. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you try and set that routine, so then you're like good at it, and it's going to better your practice, but then it actually ends up making
But also the whole point of like working for yourself and running your own business is that you don't have to stick to those timelines. Like it's the freedom that you wanted, but you're taking it away from yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, your goals?
Back to you.
So yeah, stocking in more shops, because I can't believe how easy that was, and I'd like to do it more, and I'm going to pester you about it sometime soon.
Feels like a lot of this is going on to me.
It is.
Your goal is always goal.
No, I'm kidding, but I would like a website as well, just mainly because my only online source of revenue is Etsy, actually.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's getting to a point now where I do more through, say, Instagram, Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, it's getting to that point now, and I'm like,
it'd be nice to have somewhere more professional to direct those people.
Yes, and not have to rely on Etsy, because to be honest, I know, and we'll go into this more in the selling online episode, I don't like what I'm seeing with Etsy as time goes on.
Yeah, me too.
So I don't really want to have to rely on a platform like that, and it's weird to think sometimes, because sometimes I think, God, if Instagram went down overnight and never, so many of us would be fucked.
It's always good to be able to just go, someone's like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, here's my website, it's got everything on it, and then it's got links to you.
And
your Instagram and links. You could even link it to your Etsy whilst you're still setting up the shop.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. Exactly. It'll have all the information about me. It could have my commissions price list on there, where I'm based. It could have everything on there. Nowhere else really has that. That's why I think I need it going forward. So that is definitely on the goal list. Whether that's this year, next year, don't give a shit. As long as it happens. Being stocked in more shops again this year. I'm making progress with that already. Oh, and in terms of goals last year, it was to do the podcast, and hello.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, we're here now. So
we could quit today and we've done
it. There you go.
We can tick it off, can't we?
No, so my main ambition really as well is just to expand the product range, to keep drawing, to keep going. It's always just to do that as well. Yeah. And when I started the business, I had 12 portraits, and I'm now up to around about 50, I think. So I've done something right.
Yeah, you have. I think for you, even just a website to start off with, even before you think about getting a shop on there, just a portfolio website where you can direct people that want commissions, I think would be very beneficial for you. So let's do it.
Let's do it, Jade.
Should we start it tonight?
I don't know why. Really, I'm dragging you into this, aren't I?
Do you feel like we're not business partners in anything? Just going to say that.
Let's do it,
make
Jade
sure you
and
get
Toni.
a little credit. Oh, am I in it now?
I like your website. It's neat and tidy, cute.
Thanks. It's almost like I didn't do any of that.
It's
a simple grid. I use Squarespace for mine.
Oh, you clever girl.
So it's literally just like a grid, and you just drag and drop boxes on it.
Oh my God, maybe do it Tony's way.
And then
okay.
Mine was hard.
Yeah, yours does look weirdier than Toni's, I'll say
what
that.
Do you use? What do you? Did you like
Wix?
See, yeah, I had to make mine through uni, and uni was very like, not Wix.
Oh really?
Don't use
That's weird.
Wix.
You should say that, because the studio website used to be on Wix, and Claire was like, have a play around with it, I'll give you the login. I could not work it out at all.
Some people
I think this is what
love it.
traumatised it in my brain. I
Some
can't
people
do
love it, but I think it's just, it was so ingrained in me from uni. I was like, no, it is not. It was like Adobe Portfolio, or I can't remember what the other one was, but it was more expensive. But Squarespace, it literally, you can download a template and you just upload your pictures on it.
Wow.
You can put your logo in with your little dusty pink, and then it'll match the whole thing to it.
Oh, okay.
See, mine was
It's
really
so
hard
easy.
because everything was, you had to do it yourself, kind of. Like it wasn't like a template. And at the time, I took like a summer, and I was like, I'm going to build it this summer. And I did set myself a time goal, which is naughty, but I did it because I was working on it constantly. I got used to it. But now, if I'm like, oh, I need to go and change that, or like I've got a new product that I need a new page for, I'm like, how the fuck did I do that?
Yeah. There's certain bits that I've got on mine where I'm like, I can't remember, or like the colour codes. I use a certain blue and I've got it written down somewhere because I can't.
I've done that with Canva,
I can't save it anywhere. So I'm like, it's like 3ECCF. It's like a really random like hex code. What does it?
But yeah, not to scare you, but it's hard. But we can do it together. We'll do it as a team.
Sounds easier.
Just do it Tony's way. Don't copy me.
It's expensive.
That's fine.
Toni, would you like to tell us some of your big goals? Or small goals, or any goals, medium goals?
Any goals? Top one is to be financially stable, because as much as I'm like, I've been full-time freelance now, I still live at home with my mum. I don't have like major outgoings.
Yeah.
I've got outgoings, but nothing like hugely massive. So like, I think that's the main thing, to be able to actually rely on it, because with freelance work, it's either you get 6 jobs in 1 month,
or nothing for 6 months.
Nothing. You're like, right. I've been pretty grateful with kind of for everything that I've done the past year, because it's been like pretty big jobs, so like it's kind of like tied myself over a bit.
Good.
But yeah, that's definitely like the top. One of my goals was to do a children's book, and I've just finished my first one.
Oh my God, well done.
So hopefully that'll open the door of actually like getting into children's book illustration.
It's what you're made for, though, isn't it? I mean, your style just screams that straight away.
Is that the end goal? You want to be a children's
That's
book
kind of that's always what I've wanted to do. I've always been like, oh, I'd love to do that. And then now I've done one, as much as I was so stressed and it was like absolute hell for a lot of it, I think I'd still want to do it. I just don't know if I want that as the sole thing. I don't want to like put myself in the box of I only do children's books.
I think that's the same for a lot of us, though. We go in with one thing, like you've said about the books, I've said about Etsy.
Yeah.
You realise once you're in it and you're amongst it, it can't just be one thing. It can't.
Because you're never going to make enough money to live.
Yeah.
Well, not even that. Even if that one thing goes great, you don't want to rely on one thing either.
Definitely.
I feel like I get bored of it.
Yeah.
I genuinely get bored of it. And then I'd love to do a lot more like editorial illustrations and stuff for like newspapers or like magazines and things, because that's something that like I haven't done yet. I think I'd like to give it a go.
You'd be really good at that.
Yeah. And then a studio space was one, but I've got one of them. Woohoo.
Smashed it.
No, you didn't sound too thrilled about that then.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. Got a studio space. Really no big deal, guys. Move out, like you were saying. Yeah. Move out. It's definitely, I think I lived out for my last year of uni and then come back and was like,
it's really hard. That
I'm like, this world of like, I can just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So I think that's the end goal. And just to be able to solely rely on, I can pay full rent and pay for every single bill and
not worry about it.
And not worry about it. And not worry about the fact that, I've had all these jobs this month and then, I've got none for the next 2 months. It's nice, maybe have like a steady kind of job.
Yeah.
Something, so like maybe even if it's like a steady commission, or, if it's like the family hubs have been kind of steady, but it's every couple months they'll be like, we've got something.
Yeah.
Come and do that. So, maybe, like for an editorial thing, being someone for a magazine or a certain paper, really cool. Being like, you're the illustrator for that. I think that'd be fun. And then one thing that I've wanted to do for ages that I'm kind of like in the works with the studios is like a little like youth kind of club thing, or like cute. Little art club kind of, or like a youth forum. I think I'm gonna go with as like a group of young people that want a career in the creative industry.
I love that.
But then to be able to learn about it in a studios, I think is like, I would have absolutely killed for that. And it's like trying to get work experience and stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to do my work experience in a tattoo shop at the age of 14. Obviously can't do that. So I stayed and done childminding with my mum.
Yeah.
And then when I was in college, I done my work experience back at my high school with my art teacher. So it was like a little like delve into it. But when you're in school and you're in college and stuff, you
don't know what jobs exist for artists, really.
Like, I had no idea.
Don't now, to be fair.
Yeah, I had no idea about like the community stuff and kind of workshops and working with young people. Like, I loved going into like the library and there'd been someone sat there with like paper and scissors and being like, we're making this. I loved doing all of them. So to be able to do that myself.
To be that person.
Well, like when you're in school, you're in college, you're in uni and stuff, the only thing that you are taught about like a career in the arts is like graphic designer, it's websites, branding, children's book illustrator,
or art teacher.
That's literally like you're giving them, and then to be able to be part of like a little youth panel almost within a creative space, so then you can know that, I can actually make money from this, and I can get a job in it. That's kind of,
you're going to teach those kids the things that we wish we'd known.
That's really like, I wish I had someone telling me, you could have, you can do workshops course.
Yeah.
If I'd have known that at the start of uni, I would have been like,
game changer.
Oh, I can do all that. But I found out a year after I graduated, kind of thing. So that's
I love
definitely,
that so much.
That's if they're all nice. So I could get all of the young people and then go, I actually hate you all.
I hate this.
Workshops is a long-term goal for me as well, but that is long-term because the thought of that terrifies me.
We still need to test one.
I know we do. We're talking about doing a drink and draw.
That'd be Toni.
Doing like a little.
Can I be involved in that? That's really cute.
Of course you can. You're a trio now.
I'd love that.
But it is long-term. For some reason, I can sit here and I can talk, and I don't mind however many people listening to it. I hope they are.
But if they were all sat in the room
being
with
in
us.
a room of people and telling them how to, draw.
Yeah.
That's the hardest bit.
No.
Is figuring out I do this naturally.
Yeah.
How the fuck do I tell you to do that?
Yeah.
Like I don't
know how I do it. I just sort of throw charcoal at a bit of paper and hope for the best. I don't think there's any.
I was talking about when I saw Sash yesterday. We were talking about that because we were both in the same situation. We're often overwhelmed with work, and my mum or Sash's mum or Kyle will be like, "What can we help you with?" But I'm like, it would take me longer to think about how to tell you to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Than it would for me just to do it.
Yeah. If you just leave me sitting here smacking my head against my laptop, I'll figure it out.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. I'll get there.
But you don't need to be part of that process.
No, I do the same thing. Though people go to me, "What can I do to make you less stressed?" And that's lovely that you've got people like that.
But the
around
answer
you.
is leave
but
me
the
alone.
answer is fuck off.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, but then you'll get to the end of that meltdown and you're like, oh, I just need someone else's eyes to look at it.
Yeah.
So you're like, just come back now.
Fuck off and come back when I tell you.
ready for
That
you.
is literally it. The people who put up with us are so
I
patient.
know they are. They really are.
Yeah.
But that's what's nice about being in a studio because you are surrounded by people who are exactly like that.
Yeah. But even that, I found them at markets especially. When Kyle comes with me, and God bless him, I love him to pieces. And now he is he knows my setup like the back of his hand now because he's done it so many times.
Yeah.
But at first, I'd trust Ellie, I'd trust Sass.
Yeah.
Because I know that in terms of setting up a market stall, their brain thinks the same as my brain.
Yeah.
Because they also do that job.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you don't do that job, you've no idea that I want that basket at a 90-degree angle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because why?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have been at markets with you in the early days where you and Kyle have been a little bit temperamental.
The closest we've ever been to breaking up is that little bit where I'm setting up a market stall.
I think the first time I had a proper conversation with Kyle, I think I said to him, "Kyle, if you need help, mate, just tap me on the shoulder. I'll turn around. You can go for a little walk around the block. It's all good. We're all friends here. No one's gonna die this morning. I promise you."
That was only the morning. Wow, what a rough day that would have been.
That was about a year ago,
God bless
actually.
him. Yeah.
Thought you were gonna kill him.
Such a good memory. Wow.
You're probably the reason we're still together.
The balloon.
You are the glue that holds our relationship. Poor Kyle.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Don't know if I have. There's probably some other goals. Survive.
Yes, that's a big one.
Survive. Yeah. Be happy. Right. This is going to be...
Are you going to say be happy? Because I think that's lovely.
Everyone get your tissues. Basically, yeah.
Yes.
Be happy, but also be happy in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And realise the fact that I've got here.
Yeah.
I'm clearly I'm supposed to be here. This is
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got this far if I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because there's times where I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even see myself let alone alive.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't think I'd make it
I
this
didn't
far.
think I'd make it this far,
Yeah.
and now I'm working for myself and only
Yeah.
for myself to get to a point where I'm a bit content with it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, oh my God, I actually done that, instead of me looking back on pictures of 5-year-old me with a pencil going, oh my God,
Yeah.
you've drawn a book, well done.
No, but it's a quote that I really like, and I've always liked it as well. And a lot of people debate whether this actually happened, but apparently John Lennon, as a really small child, teacher said to him, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he just said happy.
Aww.
And I think that's lovely.
Yeah, I think that's
Why is your
that's
life defined by your
Yeah.
job?
No, it shouldn't be.
No.
It really shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
that's definitely
We say doing a
top one.
podcast talking about our
But-
job,
yeah.
but
But it's letting everyone else know that you're all in the same boat.
Yeah, no, it
yeah,
is,
no, and
it
it's
is.
I consider this more of a lifestyle now than a job. If you took this away from me,
I wouldn't know
I
what
wouldn't
to
know
do.
what to do.
yeah.
No, it is
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, maybe that's my top one.
It
As,
should be for
soppy-
everybody though.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soppy as it is, because as much as I've really struggled with, oh my God, so many things, just to be able to be at the point where I'm like, you know what,
I'm happy.
yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to be alive.
Yeah, I'm
kind of
grateful
thing.
for this.
Yeah, rather than being like, oh my God, I've drawn a hippo with a hula hoop on and it looks really fucking stupid and I can't do this anymore and I can't draw and why can't I transfer the message from my hand to my brain?
Yeah.
It's so easy to spiral though, and this is what I mean again about me obviously not sounding very ambitious at all. But I do think it's that. I think as long as you're content and you're happy, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Could pack this in tomorrow, but as long as it made me happy.
Yeah. No, I do agree
And it
with you.
wouldn't, but if it got to a point where it did,
And I
I
think
would.
you are
I think
right,
you have to prioritize. You have to be selfish.
Yeah. And I think what you said before, like, I am still obviously going to set myself goals.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you in terms of, like, I'm not going to set deadlines because...
Yeah, I think maybe it's deadlines rather than goals that I'm against.
It just puts too much pressure on you that you don't need. And like I said, like, the whole point of us doing this job is that we don't want to work to somebody else's deadline. So why are we putting that stress on ourselves?
Yeah.
And it's genuinely, again, I think if you give yourself a goal and you achieve it, you have this habit because you might have had it, I don't know, written down for so long, you don't embrace it.
Yeah, you think
as much as you should.
I'm going to add that to my goal list, actually. I want to celebrate things more.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because I feel like we've mentioned on another episode, like when we did the Red Brick launch with Sass and Alice, we really celebrated that. But I think it was because it was the three of us.
Yeah.
If that was you wouldn't have done that.
Probably wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
That's true, actually.
And like the podcast, like we haven't like celebrated, like we're going to have a party for it, but do you know what I mean? Like we've really bragged about it and said we're really proud of each other and really proud of ourselves. But if I was doing it by myself, I'd just be like, oh, I'm doing that little thing.
Just feel overwhelmed.
Yeah,
It's quite a lot of work.
That's the bit. That's what I'd like to be able to do in the future is turn around and be like, oh my God, I've done that.
I've done that.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I'm really proud of
Instead
myself.
of going, project done, next one.
Sometimes as well, and I know again we're probably going off on loads of different tangents now as well, but I think you and me do the same thing as well, where when we're really stressed or things are on top of us or we think, God, I've bitten off way more than I can chew here, which I know that I do a lot, especially around Christmas.
You tell me, how many times have you told me, Tony, you need to say no to things?
I know, but I don't say no to things.
Which is that I always say to, like, when I spoke to students and stuff, I'm always like, just say if you're like, okay, I know how I do that, they've asked me kind of thing, just give it a go.
Yeah.
But then I'm also at the point now where I'm like, sometimes
It's
you
okay
do
to
No,
say
you
no.
have to dive in.
I
think after uni and college, you do
Do
have to dive
everything.
in, do
Yeah.
everything. I did as well.
Yeah.
I think you and me had a very similar sort of time frame with it all because I did the same as you. I did a year of doing all sorts of things
And
and
then
I
you
loved
find
it,
a little-
but
Yeah.
it couldn't have gone on forever. It had shattered. But I knew I wanted to eventually go into something more niche, more that I wanted to do. I had early Francesca design set up in my head since I was probably about 8 years old. It was just a case of needing a pathway to go into it. But also I feel like you and me do the same thing where we will sort of stop ourselves when the workload gets too much, when we feel really overwhelmed, of going, but would 15-year-old you be fucking thrilled right now if you could see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would.
Yeah, I'd have a moment of, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
I'd
sort of
be-
pinch
yeah.
yourself for a minute and get that perspective and go, no, this
Yeah,
is
you
actually
do.
gone really fucking well and you should
Like
be proud.
that trend that we were talking about earlier, the real thing.
Yeah.
Which will probably be well out of trend by the time this podcast
The,
comes
like,
out.
the coffee shop
But
one.
the coffee shop
Yeah.
thing, yeah. It's like I went for a coffee with 15-year-old me or whatever. And I just think it's dead cute to think about that,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
she
look
would be
back
dead
like
fucking
that.
proud of me.
Remember where
she
you
would.
were.
Yeah.
Remember where you were.
Yeah.
Like what I'm doing now is what 15-year-old me would have said was her goal.
Yeah. And that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like, you should celebrate that every
And the
single
fact
day.
that now I'm here talking about what goals after that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
insane. And I
Incredible.
haven't actually like celebrated. Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is.
Like that goal that she had.
I've done it.
You've got goals within that goal.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I mean, I've mentioned, I think, only on episode 1, probably, maybe, and a couple of others, but obviously I've got arthritis. And when that first got diagnosed in my hands, and I thought arthritis is a fucking steady slope downhill.
Yeah.
Most people get that when they're much older. I was 21, and I thought, oh my God, this could get so rough so quickly. The only time after my diagnosis, as I say, I wasn't very self-pitying over it. I was just glad to have an answer.
Yeah.
Because up till then, I just thought, what the fuck is going on here? But when they finally said that, there was a bit of relief, but there was also, shit, how bad are things going to be 5 years down the line?
Yeah.
I really regret worrying about that now.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking my hands are going to get to a point where I can't even bend my fingers. It could be absolutely awful. I wasn't even considering the fact that they diagnosed it. I could have medication that would stop
You
that
always think
happening.
the worst, though,
I
don't you?
did get out that vicious cycle of just having flare up after flare up after flare up and nothing to combat it at all. Nothing to
Yeah.
bring my immune system back down. Now I'm on medication. Now
Yeah.
that's not always brilliant. That has its ups and downs as well. But I really regret spending all that time worrying, oh my God, am I even going to be able to draw in 5 years?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. Sometimes I do have flare ups. Sometimes that does slow me down.
But
That's
you've done
okay.
it, yeah.
It's
But
okay.
you're making the most out of that.
Yeah, and I can still
situation.
draw.
Yeah.
I can still
Like
draw.
you probably had moments where you were like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and now just think, shut the fuck up, Ellie. You
Yeah,
can't.
and it is a progressive thing, and I don't mind saying that it has sort of spread to my feet as well, which has made walking that little bit harder. But you just deal with it. You just deal with it as it comes.
Yeah.
It's fine at the moment. You know what I mean? My hands are much better.
Yeah.
As I say, it has gone into my feet, which brings its own set of problems. But you just crack on. I really regret spending all that time worrying and panicking that I wouldn't be able to draw in a few years' time, because it was bollocks, and there was no point worrying about something that hadn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
So again, that's another reason why I'm sort of here and there on goals. I don't, you know.
Take every day as it comes.
Yeah.
You have to when you're me. I don't know what I'm going to do from minute to minute, so.
You are a wild card. But little you would be so proud. So Ellie, do you mind if I talk about the podcast goals?
Yeah.
So we haven't really told many people about this because obviously the podcast is still quite new, and these are dreams that we're like, we don't know if we'll get there. We hope we will. We think we might.
Yeah.
They're way in our future as of right now. But eventually we'd love to like run some sort of really fucking trying events.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe kind of. So we haven't really finalised anything at all. It's just been like, this would be nice. Wouldn't this be good?
This would be so fun.
So we'd really like to do events where we can hire like established small business owners to give talks, and we can do like networking and make small biz friends and sit around and do crafts all evening, and just it'd be really fucking cute. And like the biggest bit of feedback we've had from doing the podcast so far has been other people are like, we love having you as another voice in the room with us while we're working. Or, like a lot of people in our career, is that in our career?
Circle?
Sector?
Sector.
Are lonely, which is really fucking sad.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest parts is being like.
But even like, I know you guys work in the studio, but you were saying before, like, there's 2 people in Ellie's room, there's 3 people in Tony's room.
Yeah.
Like, if those people aren't in,
oh yeah,
you're still
and
in
there's
your own.
times,
Just because you've got somewhere to go doesn't mean you're not lonely. Do you know what I mean? But I think a lot of people also work from home, like I do, and that's fucking miserable.
But that is, I think what's nice is the feedback that we've had is exactly what we wanted to bring to people, like we said, but we want people to just have us on in the background, not sit there with a notepad and paper fucking writing down things that we say.
We're not giving you any good advice.
Don't take what we say.
You might say the odd thing that you might think, oh, that's nice. I hadn't thought of it that way. But, you know, it's not the kind of podcast where you sit down and take notes and follow it.
It's like a conversation, isn't it?
And that's exactly
but
what we
it's
wanted,
something that people can have in the background, you know, while they're working. Lots of people listening to us while they're driving to like college and uni and work, which is really lovely. And just, we are sort of there for them, even though we're not with them. We're
besties.
We
get it.
We want.
And it's always been that. It's just that we get it.
But so we just think it'd be really cute to have like, come and make friends with us, make friends with each other, get to know each other, have some small biz friends.
Support network.
Yeah. So that's the big dreamy goal of the podcast, isn't it? I'd love that. So if you're listening, tell all your friends and make them listen too, and then we can eventually start getting paid for this. And get that in the
money
works.
would be lovely.
Yeah, it would. And then we can get all that in the works. Yeah. That'd be great.
Please.
Yes, please.
We're begging you.
Even if everyone that's already listened tells one friend, that would double our audience, and that would be great. Do you know what I mean?
Because it's for so many people as well. Like, fair enough, it's for small business owners, and that is quite niche. But art students, I feel like, could get so much out of this. It might terrify them.
It might scare you out of doing this. You might become a doctor or something after this.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoke about it because I think all of us here are young enough to remember it quite vividly. Even you, Jade.
Wow. It was a long time ago now, but
I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist. You were just there.
The audience thinks you're horrible.
I know. But I think, for art students, it might fucking terrify you. But, you know, your experience might be totally different again. And we want to hear from you as well. If a few years down the line you've had a totally different experience from us and you think
educate us.
Them two are full of shit. Get in here, tell us. We want to hear about it too.
This podcast could be the knowledge in the industry that, like, education doesn't give.
Thank you, Tony.
Like,
that's
gorgeous
nice.
way to sum it up.
Genuinely, because it's like, it's not something that I've always said. It's not taught.
No, it's not. It's not, and that's what really terrified us the most. I think I can speak for both of us there, Ellie.
Yeah.
When we started, it was, I don't know how to fucking do any of this.
It's never taught that, like, markets and, you know, selling, having like a shop of all these things. It's never taught that can actually be your.
No, and obviously that's not the only way of doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
there's all sorts of ways. We've learned.
But that's why we want to get guests on like you, who you do it a completely different way to how I do it.
Yeah.
But the more people that come on and
ends.
talk and write into us, and you know what I mean, we just want to get everyone's perspective, so that everyone has got as much knowledge as possible, because
and we're learning as we go as well, which is why it's not going to get stale. You know, we've both done things last year that we didn't think we'd do at the start of our business.
And we've got plans for this year that we would never have dreamed of last year.
So we're learning as we go as well. No one's got it sorted, and anyone who says they have is chatting shit.
You're a fucking liar.
And it's not like you're doing this podcast saying that you're
no, we're not experts.
Top dogs, and you're like, we know everything.
No,
Listen to us.
As I say, we've both done things. We've both achieved things that, have been very, very good for us.
I think we have got some advice to offer.
Yeah, but we're still learning.
But at the same time, you tell me what.
Your
advice,
help us.
Yeah. It's almost like you're making like a little circle of loads of small businesses that can be like,
exactly
I've done
what we
this.
want. Yeah.
You try it.
As we said, it's community, it's not competition.
Yeah.
Do you know what that sound means, Jade?
It's time for Q&A. That's the level of enthusiasm I'm expecting from you. In the future.
I'll try.
Thank you.
I can't promise anything.
I think you can do that.
I think she can. She just won't.
It's one of my goals.
Oh.
Hey. No deadline.
Yeah, not surprised. So this is just a little segment on the podcast where we answer some questions from our Instagram followers. So today we've got 2 questions.
Okay.
We have.
Oh, double whammy.
One is anonymous.
Oh,
one
okay.
is not anonymous. So the first one is from Planchette Place, and they've asked, how do you keep on top of money, taxes, and your books? So this is a gross one. I thought we'd get this one out while Tony's here because I feel like she's, I don't want to say cleverer than us.
In terms of numbers?
I was like, you think that? I think we're on par.
I mean, you know her better than I know.
Anyway, Q&A.
So Planchette Place has asked, how do you keep on top of money, taxes, and your books? So, obviously...
Who wants to go first?
So we're definitely not experts on this.
Absolutely not. No.
I can tell you how I do it. Ellie can tell you how she does it.
Yeah.
Tony can tell you how she does it.
Yeah. And they will all be different.
Yeah, and they probably will all be wrong.
We'll get some like accountant messaging going,
I feel like it's the question no one truly knows the answer
like,
to.
why have HMRC not caught you?
Yeah, we'll all be like audited next week. So I found the easiest way for me is to make sure that everything I buy for the business comes out of the same bank account.
Yeah.
So I try not to buy anything with cash. I try not to buy anything like with Kyle's money, for example. And then at the end of each month, I go through my online banking, see what's come in, what's gone out, and put it all into a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Which is obviously quite tedious. But I make a spreadsheet with incomes and outgoings, and I put it into different categories. So I'm like, this is what I've spent on market fees, this is what I've spent on stock, this is what I've spent on equipment.
Yeah.
And obviously that's more just for me, but that's a nice way to kind of keep on top of it.
Yeah.
And I know I spent way too much on this last month, cut down this month. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that also lets me know what I've made from markets, from Etsy, from my website, and what I've spent on like stock and travel. And then at the end of the year, it doesn't seem as daunting because I've done it at the end of every month.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah. It is easier said than done. Like the first few years, I didn't do it at all. And then when the tax year was up, I was like, I hate myself.
Yeah.
How can I fix this?
Yeah.
But then actually submitting the tax return, I hate it.
I can't do it.
The form process stresses me out. It's too hard.
And I'm like,
it's spooky.
I don't want to send it.
No,
I
it's
like,
too spooky.
if I leave it there, it's not,
Yeah.
nothing's wrong with it. I have
Yeah.
to send it and then they're like, woo, woo,
Yeah.
woo.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've got to really fuck it up for them to get in touch.
Yeah.
Like, I think a discrepancy of like 20 quid.
Yeah, I think that's what I always forget, that I'm not some like multi-millionaire company.
Yeah. I'm not laundering money or, I'm not doing anything naughty.
It's like when a police, do you know what it
Yeah.
reminds me of?
Yeah.
When a policeman walks past you in the street
Yeah.
and
You're like,
you suddenly think,
Yeah.
have I got a gun?
Yeah. Or when you go through like airport security and you're like, shit, is there a bag of cocaine up my arse?
Yeah.
There isn't.
Yeah, there's not. It's
There never
literally
has
that.
been.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah, a tax return is the equivalent of that.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so that's I hate that bit. I hate filling out the form. I hate that I'm like, I don't know what these words mean. I hate that I just hate it. I hate that whole process. But I think if you've done the numbers side of it as often as you can to keep on top of it,
Yeah.
there's less to do with that form filling in time, if you know what I mean.
It's always the worst time as well. It's always December, January.
Yeah,
Yeah, January is supposed to be wind down time, but it's just there.
yeah, it is.
It's like, by the way.
Yeah.
But then imagine if they moved it and put it in December.
Yeah. I feel like no matter when it is, we'd complain.
Yeah.
Just don't make us do it. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
I just want to make cute things. Gotta pay taxes.
Yeah.
I'm just a girl. But yeah, so that's how I go about it. I mean, I imagine your ways are quite similar.
I'm trying to be better this year because, again, this January I did have that moment of looking at my bank statements and going, oh. I am different to you, though. I actually have a separate account linked to my Etsy and my card machine, just so I know.
Okay, that's really good.
So
That's
obviously for Etsy, it's there, it's the figures, it's what I need to know.
Yeah.
For card machines with markets, it's a bit different because obviously you get cash and card, but I do log everything in my card machine as well, so that I've got a log cash payments in my card machine as well, just so I know know exactly
that's good.
what I've made for each day at market, and card machines as well will add that up for you each month, so that makes it really simple.
That's really good.
To take your market takens. I'm already boring myself here. I'm so sorry. At the moment, what I've got is a diary, a big diary, where I'm not only writing down my business expenditures, but also personal, because I want to keep a bit more of a track on that. I need to take a water bottle. Yeah. I need to take a water bottle out with me and stop buying drinks from shops, because I swear to God, half my income goes on that.
Imagine if you had a flask and you brought coffee with you.
I know. Imagine. I'd save about $10 a day, I reckon. But yeah, so I'm doing well at that at the moment, but come back to me in 4 weeks' time. It'll probably be a different story. Colour-coded pen as well makes all the difference. Green for money in, red for money out. It makes the process so much easier.
You could basically be an accountant now, I think.
No, I am pathetic because my dad helps me so much.
Oh,
the amount of times I've like knocked on his door and been like, Dad, can I offset this against tax? No, you greedy bitch. Fuck off. Or he's gone, what are you doing? You can offset that against tax. But I literally, I've got no problem telling my dad my ingoings, my outgoings, what I've spent on X, Y, and Z. I don't, I don't hold anything for me. I know he won't judge me for it. You know, if he sees something on my bank statements that's like £110 Weatherspoons, he's like, go ahead, girl. You know, no judgment here.
There you go, amazing.
So I don't mind him having access to that information, and he does help. I do massively rely on his help. And also numbers, I do find them daunting. I passed my maths GCSE by the skin of my teeth, and that was 11 years ago, so I can't imagine that things have got much better since. Even calculators confuse me. Fat arthritic fingers, I can't. I can't do this. I don't do spreadsheets. I like
the finger jiggle that you done there.
Yeah, no one else saw that. Only Toni and Jay got to enjoy that. I fucking hate spreadsheets with a fucking passion. Yeah. Hate them. Won't use them. The tiny little squares, I can't fucking see them. I sound about 90, don't I? I don't understand the way they work. Shut up, I'm not done with this rant. I'm a pen and paper girly all the way. A colour-coded fucking pen, the 4-in-1 Bics, love them. That is the way to do your accounting. This isn't a top tip. I just
top tip, get a 4-in-1 Bic.
That's it. That'll
bottom tip of it.
Buy that pen and it'll do that fucking tax return for you.
It writes for you. It's great.
Just put it in front of the laptop. Jobs are good. No, I'm shit. Don't be me. But I do think the separate bank account genuinely for the Etsy and the card machine. When I first started it, I was a bit like, does this look iffy? Don't think it really does, to be honest. But no, that helps me keep a better track on those two. Everything else, shit show. Print orders will come out my personal account because I don't put any money into the other account. I automatically transfer it to myself. Yeah. I don't leave anything in there holding at all. Yeah, I go, payday for me, transfer.
Yeah, that's the way you're doing it though.
Yeah, and it's a nice little payday for me as well, which is nice. I sort of think, I forgot I made that.
Instead of you getting it in like dribs and drabs.
Dribs and drabs. I let it stack up and then I can have like a proper payday. So that is really beneficial for me. Won't work for everybody because, like I say, I'm having to go through 2 statements rather than 1. For me, it works. And as I say, it's because I can then pay myself as well, which helps me keep a better track on it. But in terms of print orders, packaging, anything like that, it still comes from my personal, still a bit of a shit show. I used to print things out as well to remind myself that I'd bought them and keep it all in a little folder, and that got really overwhelming. Yeah. And my dad was like, why are you doing that? You're just wasting money on printing. He said, just write it down.
No, I found that as well. Like when I started, I was like, obviously you keep all your receipts and stuff, don't you? But when I bought something online, I'd print that receipt out every single time.
I did.
And like, how much to buy online? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Eventually I was like, I've just got folders and folders full of receipts and I'm just so overwhelmed by it. And Carl was like, it's online. Why are you doing that? Why are you 98 years old? What are you doing?
Saved.
Yeah. And I mean, you only really need proof as well if you're chased about it, don't you? And
that's the bit that I always forget.
Yeah. I won't delete anything to this day. I'm a bugger, and I've still got folders on my email accounts that are just whacking up storage. Yeah. Invoices May 2020, invoices July 2020. You know what I mean? Things that I'm likely never going to need.
Though,
just in case. I need to pack that in.
You need an external hard drive.
I've got one.
I need to get a new one.
It's all on there, Jade, and even that's racking up.
Mine sounds like
I need an external hard drive for the external hard drive. It's a joke. Don't be like me. This isn't advice. As I say, it works. I'm not answering this question at all, really. I'm just having a bit of a meltdown.
This is whatever the opposite of advice is.
Thank you so much, Planchet Place, for this question. We really loved it.
Just ignore everything else you just said.
Some of it might be of use to you. Yeah, I've gone red. Moving on.
Toni.
So mine's quite similar, but also different because I don't have products that I sell. Yeah. I don't have like anything outgoing kind of
materials really for you, isn't
it's
it?
pretty much just materials, and then my invoices from the commissions and the clients and stuff like that. So I keep track of my invoices on Zoho, and that kind of like adds it all up.
Okay.
And you can add your expenses and your receipts on it as well. So I don't do all of them because I'm absolutely rubbish, and I don't actually do my spreadsheets or anything month by month. I will do it all in January.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
We all have the January panic. I don't think anyone's exempt
I'll get to like
from
the
that.
middle of January and go, I need to do my tax return. Oh my God. And then every tab is like my bank.
Yeah.
And then I'm like rummaging through. I don't have a receipt for
You know
that. Oh
what
my
really
God.
pisses me off as well? If you're on if you're on your online banking and you're using like say a tab on your laptop, if I fuck off for a smoke, it logs me out.
Yeah,
It's like, you've got to be like,
I'm
are you
still
still here?
using it.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm always still here because I've got to do my tax return.
Yeah. And then you're going through and you're like,
I'll let you know when I'm not fucking here.
Yeah.
did I actually buy that? Did I?
Oh my God, isn't that the worst panic where you see like a reference and you think, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It was 10 months ago. I don't fucking remember.
So I feel like mine's not as difficult as yours because I only have my ingoing of my invoices going in, and then it'll be like materials, or I have a lot of travel since I don't drive.
Yeah.
So a lot
Travel's an iffy one though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know where I stand with travel either.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do it if it's like I've gone, say if I'm doing, I done a load of stuff with Shakespeare North last year where I was drawing loads of their workshops and stuff. So I've literally done like the travel from there as like this'll be like deducted and stuff. But then any receipts that I buy, it's all kind of in the same bank account. When I'm buying materials, receipts I'll keep, and then I'm just late and I do it all. I do it all in January and then have that panic of
But that's okay.
Yeah.
At least you do it.
Yeah. I need to actually look at this year's one and try and
You
get ahead of it.
do need to sort of know your income as well, month by month, your profit and loss as well. So I think, if you're not doing it month by month and you are waiting till the end, I know you only need that final number.
Yeah, but for you, it's good
For you,
to have.
it's really beneficial to know where the bulk of your income comes from, where your expenditures
I think
going.
especially if you're doing this like full time or close to full time, and it's not just like a side hustle. I think if it's you want it to be a proper business, you need to know where that money's going.
I mean,
and
I
where
have
it's
a
coming
part-time job, but even so, I treat this like full-time because essentially it is, to be honest. I always think of it, I'm doing a full-time job and a part-time job, to be honest, because it is, and I think it would be for anybody in the same boat as well.
Yeah. So also don't do it like me because I probably do it wrong.
Yeah.
No, I think we all do think we've done it wrong, though. I've just had a meltdown, so anything that you've just got to
But there's no although there obviously is a definite answer.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to have it.
I think as long as it makes sense to you and you have everything there that you can access, then if you are chased, which is very rare, especially as a small business, because you're not that multi-millionaire company that's earning all the money. That
Are they getting chased, though? That's what I'd like to know.
So
I think it's probably like the medium guys, isn't it?
That's a whole other
They get in
episode.
trouble. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Tune in next week. But yeah, it's absolute hell for me. I hate it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if that was really advice or if it was useful.
That was good. I mean, that might have helped me
But you're
because I
welcome.
had no idea. I think the form as well. It's just questions. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I thought it was like full on breakdown spreadsheet. I had to submit this, and it's literally just like tick boxes, and the majority is optional.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't,
and there's loads of it as well that's like you don't have to.
it doesn't apply. Yeah. So you can just
skip it.
It is literally just as long as you've got your numbers, and then you've got all your records.
Yeah.
You're
sound.
Yeah,
sound.
you're covered.
Your 4-colour big pen.
But we
You're
have to
all right.
Yeah, you need that. You need that big 4-colour
obviously,
pen.
Get that pen.
I'm hoping we'll get a sponsorship from Big Cat. You're fucking welcome.
This episode is sponsored by Big.
I hope that answers your question. Sponsorship, please.
Yeah, hope we
If
helped.
not, if not, then I have no further advice.
And
if there's
also-
any accountants listening, please write in and tell us how to do tax.
I'd say go to
They
gov.uk.
fucking won't.
but-
I think that's why nobody wants to tell you. They hope that
Yeah.
we'll all just shit ourselves and
Yeah.
hire an accountant.
Can't afford an accountant, but
Yeah.
maybe I can. I need an accountant to tell me if I can
See,
afford an accountant.
yeah.
And that's-
Any accountants
why they
willing to do some
And I
free
don't
work.
think ours is any easier than yours, Tony. I
No.
think we're just chaos.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. I think you guys have a lot of little thing, like
Yeah.
loads of little thing, like your
Yeah.
prints and your stickers and stuff, and then from like markets and your card
Yeah.
machines, and then I've just got, you've been paid for this job, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours is more like drips and drabs
Yeah,
of income and outgoings.
Yeah.
No, but like finding out, for example, how much I've spent a year on cardboard to back my
Yeah.
prints with, it knocks me fucking sick because buying cardboard gives me absolutely no joy in life.
Yeah.
I think 10 years
I didn't
ago.
sign up for this.
Hell, are you going to spend £100 on
Yeah.
cardboard?
Your bubble
What?
wrap gave you joy though.
Yeah, but did you see it? It was beautiful.
It was. I had the box from that.
I know you did.
You had the cardboard.
I had the cardboard from that. But you do get a lot of cardboard.
I do. Yeah.
And I think as well, like we were saying before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Baby Ellie did not dream of buying bulk cardboard.
No, she didn't, but she did dream of selling prints,
Yeah.
but you don't really
didn't know
consider
all
one
that.
with the other. I didn't think Baby Ellie didn't think she'd be up until 3 o'clock in the morning cutting down said cardboard, but that happens too.
Yeah.
It's not a happy life. That bit isn't happy. The selling them after is happy.
Drawing and selling them. Yeah, it's all the other shit that comes with it.
Yeah, it's the shit in between
It's okay. It's worth it. It's all worth it.
It is.
Keep smiling. So I hope I don't feel like we have, but I hope we've kind of answered that.
We haven't.
So the next question was from Anonymous, and I've picked this one purposefully for this episode. You know my friend Anonymous, right? I've picked this one purposely for this episode, Toni, because I feel like you can help us a lot with this one.
Okay.
So Anonymous has asked, besides making products with my designs on, can you tell me some easy ways to make money as an illustrator?
Oh, okay.
So we are going to do a future episode about passive income, but I use things like Thoughtful to sell my cards on, Redbubble to sell my designs on, things like that, which is a really easy way to make extra money. Like, I don't make massive amounts of money from that, but it's very...
That's just a case of put your design on.
It's low energy.
Every little helps as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You find
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
But I know that you can sell your designs to like companies and things like that, which isn't something I would know how to do.
That's a whole nother then licensing.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that you do a lot of work that you were talking about earlier. And you both do, well, Ellie hasn't started yet, but workshops and things like that. So I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about that for us, if you don't mind.
No, that's...
I mean, feel free to say no.
No, Jade, I actually don't want to talk about that.
I've talked enough now, I'm going to go.
That's kind of what the workshops and stuff is almost kind of like the side kind of like passive income kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And that's just doing doodle rolls seems to be kind of like a big thing that I do. It is literally just a giant roll of paper, and I'll just stand there, and I've done some at Norton Priory and things. Just stand there with pencils and pens, and then have a theme on it, and just get kids to come up and
that's cute
and draw, and it'll be like, where's your favourite place, and they'll draw it.
Yeah.
Or I've done like a little zine as well, where you come and fold a little paper thing, and then you walk round and you go and draw on it and stuff. So like you've got like a little craft idea that's definitely something that you can use as a little workshop.
I think obviously I don't do workshops and things, but I think if you can do something that somebody else might not know how to do, it can be a workshop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You've just got to get past that hurdle of how do I explain this to someone that doesn't
know how to do it.
But it's like you kind of just have to break it down to the point of if you were talking to your nan
about or Ellie.
Or Ellie. If you were talking to Ellie about how to use a laptop.
Yeah.
And then they
press on.
And
Slow down.
You'll be sad.
Let me get my pen.
Throw in one big pen.
This is actually in yellow. But yeah, that's kind of where the workshops is definitely a good little way, because you could have like a little niche that is like something that I know that Rosie, who I shared the studio with, she started doing a lot more workshops and stuff now being in the studio, and that's cross stitch and stuff. So she sells like kits that you can buy to do it yourself, but now she's literally just turned that into a workshop, and just like she stands there and teaches people.
Yeah, it's really cool,
about
isn't
it.
it?
So you kind of like, there'll be ways you do pottery and all sorts. You can. It's just then
She
figuring
can't.
out.
She's an illustrator.
Yeah.
But
Well,
whatever
but
she
whatever.
does.
Yeah. Whatever.
I'm assuming she's a she as well. If she can do that.
Whatever
they
your
do.
practice is, there'll be something in it that you could turn into something.
Yeah.
But another thing that is worth noting, obviously we don't know how old this person is. They might listen to this and think, oh, fuck off, I'm not 5. I started when I was actually pre-teen, teenager. I started entering art competitions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won.
That's always a good little.
Yeah. One of the awards, one of the competitions that I won was an exhibition space, actually.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't come to much other than having sort of picture in the local paper and things, and obviously having that exhibition space for...
I mean, that's exciting.
I know it is, but no, it is when you're that age, but it still is now. I sound really ungrateful there. No, but even that, just being able to get pictures and say, oh, I have actually had a solo exhibition at such and such a place as a result of a competition win, makes you sound really impressive. It's something for the CV.
Along the same lines as competitions, just applying for like local jobs and stuff. Like there's quite a lot of my work has been from like applying for things. So like the children's book that I've done, that's with St Helens Library, and that was just an application that they had. It was like, we're looking for illustrators.
Yeah.
Here's the fee. Apply for it. So just like finding little things like that, little opportunities, just apply for it. And it could be like, we need an illustrator to design an illustration for a library, and then you'd be like, okay, I've got a portfolio, I'll send it off.
Yeah. But there's things as well like AOI, is it called?
Yeah.
And AN, Artist Newsletter, that I get my insurance through AN.
Yeah.
But if you sign up to something like that, there's always like opportunities.
There's
and
always
things
stuff.
on there,
Yeah.
and they're telling you all sorts of things you can enter and apply for. And
There's loads of like
there
Instagram accounts. There's one that's like
Yeah.
starving artists opportunities.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There is another one that I
And
found.
it is like, it's obviously a lot of like sieving through things that you don't necessarily want to do until you find one that you do, which you haven't always got time for. But if you, I don't know where this person's at in the stage of their business, but especially if you're just starting out, you have got time to do those kind of things.
You've got to get yourself out there. No one's going to know
Fingers in
who
all
you
the
are.
pies.
It is, though. It's getting your name out there.
it
It's
is.
as simple as that,
It
getting
really
your
is.
name out there. Because I was really reluctant to even join Instagram because I'm
Yeah.
not really a social media person.
No.
But who the fuck's going to know who you are
Exactly,
these days?
yeah.
If
You
you
can't
gotta put
expect
yourself out
work
there.
if no one
Knows
can
you
find you
exist.
and no one knows who you
So I knew I had to. It was just that little part of my brain going, oh, I'm quite a private person. And I am in my personal life.
Yeah.
But I know for business, it can't be
Business
like
alley's
that.
different. Yeah.
It can't. Yeah.
But I think the more that you put yourself out there, my advice to this question would be the more you put yourself out there, things will eventually start coming
The
to
more
you.
things,
Yeah.
the more things you'll find and you'll go, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Also, schmooze wherever you
Schmooze,
can.
yeah.
Schmooze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Network
see
with
somewhere,
everyone and anyone.
see
and
somewhere you could like see
Yeah.
yourself, or like it's a creative space. Just be
Yeah.
like, oh my god, hi, I do this.
Literally, yeah.
You need to stand out in their brain.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to talk about this. We're going to do another market episode, aren't we? And I'm going to talk about this and that. But there's been a couple of markets where they haven't been a market yet. They've been like an event, and I've been like, I really want to be in that space. Like,
Yeah.
one was like a cabaret show, and I was like, I want
I
to
wanna
sell
be
there.
there.
That's my audience. How do I
Yeah.
get in there? So I just messaged them, and I was like,
Yeah.
Can I? Hi, you want to meet me? I want to come and be with you. And then I do that now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've just got to be cheeky sometimes. Like, if there's an opportunity and you think that's for me,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go in and go, hi, this is me,
Yeah.
then they'll sit there and, weeks will go by and then something will happen. Then they'll go, hang on, oh,
Remember
that
them?
person, remember
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
They wanted to do
Yeah.
this.
And especially like other people in similar industries, like obviously that was a cabaret show, so they're like performers. They're creative as well.
Yeah.
They don't think you're being cheeky. Like, you feel
They
like
understand it, yeah.
You feel like you're being cheeky, but they're not going to. They're going to think she was confident.
Yeah.
She was brave. Like,
Yeah.
that must have took a lot. I'm glad that they did that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And as much as you'll probably psych yourself up and hate yourself for like going to message them,
Yeah, do it.
just do it.
Do it.
Because the worst
Yeah.
thing that's going to happen is they'll go, oh no, sorry, we're not
Yeah.
looking for anything.
Okay, move on.
Just be like,
Yeah.
okay, sound, see you
Thank
later.
you.
That's
fine.
true, actually. Yeah.
The worst they can say is no.
If there's a gap for
Yeah.
something and you think nothing like that exists,
Get in
Yeah.
it. Fit
get
that
in
gap.
it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing we
Yeah.
did this podcast.
Yeah.
We just
That's
thought we didn't have this sort of thing when we were starting up. That would have been nice.
It genuinely, this came
Yeah.
out of like, I wish we had that. Why
love
don't we
that.
do it?
I love
Let's
that.
do it.
Yeah. So yeah, my advice would be
That was better. Yeah, that was better advice
find, yeah,
than the tax one.
than the tax
Well
one. Yeah.
done.
Sorry about the tax. But yeah, just go for everything and everything that you
Yeah.
can find and
And get a Bic 4-in-1 pen.
get a big fun. It'll change your life. Sponsored by Bic. But yeah,
That could be
We're
like a
really
little
not.
gift. That could be a little
I'm-
gift you do for the
Bic
guests.
aren't paying us fucking anything for this, I
Buy
promise.
them and then you can put a little sticker on it.
that'd be cute.
But I do use them all the time, don't I?
You
Don't I,
You're
Toni?
obsessed.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
So I think that's probably it for today. I hope that we've
Aw.
answered your question. I know.
I want to talk about tax returns some more.
No, another day. It's too much for my brain. I hope that you've enjoyed listening. We've absolutely loved having you in with us today, Toni. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be discussing finding your style and branding your business. And we'll be joined by the fantastic Katie, who runs Glorified Cabaret, which is a gorgeous plus-size cabaret. And we absolutely can't wait for her to join us, can we, Ellie?
We can't. I've never met her. I
That's
don't
going to
think.
be so
It
exciting.
is. It's really, really cute. So yeah, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. In the meantime, don't forget you can follow us on Instagram at Really Fucking Trying, and you can message us on there with any topics that you'd like us to cover.
Not tax returns.
Not tax returns.
Nothing to
Any
do with
easy,
numbers.
Easy topics that you'd like us to cover.
Anything else.
Any questions?
No numbers.
No numbers. If you want to know anything, if there's any advice we can give, anything like that. And if you fancy joining us for a chat, there's also a guest application form in our bio.
It's really lovely, guys. Do it.
Thank you, Toni.
Oh.
We didn't even have to pay her to say that. We had to give her a big
I'm
pen.
actually, I'm actually taped to the chair.
Toni will still be here by the time you come if you apply. So yeah, so thank you for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.